Hello, everyone. This is Coriel Kramer, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you today on another Thursday for the animal experience. And this episode is episode number 11, but let me tell you a little bit of what the animal experience is all about so you understand. So the animal experience, or what I like to call TAE now, it's my experiences with talking to the animals over the last few decades of being a professional animal communicator. And it has been an extraordinary journey. It has been an extraordinary unfolding. I have learned some incredible things. And I tell people, honestly, that probably 80 to 90% of the stuff that I know about the metaphysical, I first learned from the animals. Because they have such extraordinary outlooks, not only about the metaphysical, but about life, about what we discussed last week was the law of attraction. But this is what TAE is. It is me bringing this to you. I wanted to share this with you all because it has changed my life so profoundly, and I have grown so much from it as a being on this planet that it had to be shared with all of you. And to be able to do this now at this time has just been incredible. I shared on my Facebook page how a year ago today, I had the opportunity to bring 3 concepts for a TV show, possible TV show, that I was approached by a company, a production company, and they wanted to put me on TV. And they wanted to do 3 different concepts. And it didn't pan out, but I knew when it didn't pan out, I knew something was coming because it felt too big. And now what it is that I am doing my own show with my own concept, not even close to any of the other concepts that they had. But I think it's bigger than it would have been if it was through the other way. I think the animal experience has got an incredible chance to change the world. And it's not me. It's the wisdom that I'm bringing to you from the animals. And I think it's time, and I think how it's being done is the right time. It's all unfolding just beautifully. So that, in a nutshell, is what the animal experience is all about. TAE is about me bringing you their wisdom. And I could not be more proud and more honored to be able to do that. I have had an extraordinary couple of hours. And what I'd like to do is, last week I dedicated the show to my heart cat PC, who passed away 10 years ago. And yesterday I lost a very dear friend who was a dog. And I'm going to get emotional again. Here we go. But he was an extraordinary being, extraordinary. And he changed me, not only as an animal communicator, absolutely, but as a person. So I would like to dedicate this week's episode to Bird. And I want to say thank you to him and all that he's given me in my life. And I was honored to have been asked to be with him when he left this plane. And this is why I do what I do, because yeah, there's something. Anyway, sorry. So I'm dedicating this episode to you, Bird Dog. Fly free, my brother. Fly free, and thank you for all you brought to this world. So I'm a hot mess. So let's get to our episode. Thank you everybody for my breakdown. Oh, bird dog. He was a good one. Anyway, so this is episode 11. And episode 11 is about, this episode is about abuse and neglect. Now, I understand this is not an easy topic. I get it. All right. I get it. But try to keep an open mind and understand, I promise you 100%, I am not going to go into the negative about it too much. Okay. This is about uplifting. This is what the animals want me to tell you. So you don't have to worry about me showing you images or anything else like that there. I'm not about that. This is about their take on it. Keep an open mind, understand, and an open heart with this, and understand that it is something that I am really excited to bring about, because when I started to first hear this, their messages about this, it changed my life. It truly, truly did. So going into what I'd like to talk to you about, I'd like to recap a little bit. So a few episodes ago, we talked about something called soul plans and life plans. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing about it because it was really long, and if you want to, you can look back on the previous episodes, either on my Facebook page, on YouTube, and there's a few other things that I'll mention later on where you can find the animal experience. So in a nutshell, what a soul plan and life plan is the soul plan is what is written in each of our souls. Who we're going to be, who's going to be the mother, who's going to be the father, who's going to be the dog, who's going to be the cat, who's going to be the brother, who's going to be the sister. Life plans are more like, what am I going to do in this life? Who am I going to be? What am I going to bring to this world? Okay, so animals showed me how both of these tie into our lives on this planet, like I discussed before in the last episode or last couple episodes. What we're doing is we're co-creating our life with the universe. It's not just that we have to just sit back and, just let some dude in. If this is what you believe, that's cool. But it's not what I believe. Animals told me about LOA, which I talked about in Living the Law of Attraction, which I talked about last week. So you might want to look at that episode. But it's not just sitting back and allowing some dude or some guy or some goddess to just give us what we want. We're co-creating our lives with the universe. And we're doing that through the thoughts that we think. We're also doing that through our soul plans and life plans. And animals are very tied to that. So animals, what they do is they see the bigger picture. It's not so much animals, when they come down here, they see the bigger picture. They can take the personal out of it, so to speak. They can see where their soul and where their lives are going, almost like a roadmap to a certain extent. They're much more tied into it. Humans have a tendency, not all of us, but some of us, we have a tendency to get in our own way. We have a tendency to worry and fret and be scared and to, question and to doubt and to things like that there. And animals don't. All right. So animals see the bigger picture. They take the personal factor out of it. Whereas the personal factor, what I mean by the personal factor is, listen to these two statements. One statement is, oh my God, look what's happening to me. The other statement is, oh my God, look what's happening. The animals are more in the latter. They take the personal out of it, because when we put the personal into it, it gives us blinders. It makes us think that and stay in our own pain, in our own, in our own small shell. It makes us all kind of like have the box effect. in our perspective, if you get my drift with that. So there's much more. What they understand is animals understand on a very deep level, and so do we if we get out of our way. I can see this much more clearly now, but I had to have the animals teach this to me. What they taught me was that there's much more contrast in challenges, and the soul expands from it. We become more. There's this old adage, not too crazy about it, but it is true, okay? Pain is the touchstone to spiritual experience. A lot of the times we don't move or change unless we become so uncomfortable we can't stay in our crap anymore. So that's when we expand, unless you embrace changes and challenges and things like that there. But we have a tendency to want to stay in our stuff and stay in the pain until it becomes so much we have no other choice but to move our booties. Animals really and truly don't want to stay in pain very long. They're not martyrs. They're not like, oh, look what I've been through, look what I've been through, look what I've been through. They're more like, okay, I'm going through this right now, but it's getting me to where I want to go, so I'm going to keep on going through it, but I'm going to let it go. As it comes in, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. It's pretty extraordinary, okay? So I'm going to go into different phases. So the different phases of abuse and neglect are during and after. The before we already just covered, all right? So now we're going into the during. So last week in the Law of Attraction episode, I talked about the law of attraction. I talked about the stream of well-being, which is flowing to every single being on this planet. Whether you are an animal, vegetable, or mineral, there is a stream of well-being that flows to you, which is filled with good times, abundance, health, wealth, good experiences, wonderful experiences, but also challenges, all right? The animals get very, very easily into their stream of well-being. It's why they are so quick to get into to healing and things like that there, and I'll discuss that, the different healings a little later on. But animals their goal is, if they're out of their stream of well-being, their goal is to get back into that stream, back into the flow as soon as possible, and they will do anything and everything to get out of that, go and get into that flow. They want to feel good. Humans have a tendency, not all, but some of us have a tendency to want to sit in our own poop. We do. We want to sit in our poop. We want to bitch about the poop. We want to talk about the poop. We want to talk about how it smells. We want to talk about how it feels. We want to talk about how bad it is. Animals don't want to do that. They want to get out of the poop, all right? So they trust in this. They know about it. They believe in it wholeheartedly. So what I want to discuss now is animals in pain. When an animal is in pain, this is what they showed me. When I started connecting to animals who were either going through some challenging health issues or going through, the end results of abuse and neglect, I would get this feeling like they would tell me they're in their body, they're out of their body, they're in their body, they're out of their body. And I wasn't quite sure what they meant by that. So I asked them, and what they did was they told me that they're able to jump in and out of their body at random whenever they want to, if a pain or situation gets too overwhelming to them. They can kind of like, their soul kind of like stays tethered to the body, kind of like a balloon, but they're able to rise above it. So they're not in it and they don't have to experience it 24/7, right? See, this gives them an advantage over us and empowers them so they don't allow themselves to always be stuck in their situations. It allows them to take their power back. We think that an animal is stuck in their abusive situation because we think, oh, a human would be stuck in their abusive situations. But if you listen to some people who have been like incarcerated, like Nelson Mandela, or somebody who has been incarcerated for a very, very long time, they talk about how they use things like books, how they use things like meditation to get out of their own body. We do it too, but we have a tendency not to do it as much because, again, it's hard for us to get past the mindset of stuff. It's hard for us to quiet our minds enough so that we can and get out of the personal of it so that we can get the different perspective. Animals can go back in and out of their bodies with every situation. Now, please understand, this doesn't mean that they don't feel sadness, they don't feel despair, but they are always, always, always looking to find the positive in everything. It is incredible. When the animals that I talk to, the ones that have been through some very interesting, I do not go into bad, I don't go into awful, I don't go into the negative words. I try to acknowledge the fact that they've been through what they've been through, but I try to move on from it. So I don't keep on saying, it's awful, it's awful, it's awful. Yes, it was awful, but it's not awful anymore. Let's move on. So they're always trying to find the positive in everything, even if the positive is just telling themselves over and over and over again that they're a worthy child of God, they're a worthy child of the universe. They don't want to hold on to the negative. They don't want to hold on to their past. They want to let the past go. They are not like us. They are the way we should be, which is, and I learned how to really and truly let the past go. I let it go. I don't hold on to my past. And I learned that, and I learned how to do that from the animals because they want to step out of their past. Many understand that they all can't be saved. I understand that's hard to hear. I get it. I understand that. I used to take pictures for the Pet Finder website, and I used to have to go into the kill shelters in New York City. Not a happy place to be. It's not happy fluffy. I'll tell you that much right now. Okay, it was hard, but they understand. They understand that they all can't be saved, and they're not all supposed to be saved. Now, I'm going to be doing an episode later on from what I learned about this from my cat Socrates, and was extremely life-changing for me. And I will expound on this a little bit more, but they understand that the soul expands greatly from all that we experience. They understand that, especially through the most challenging of times. And they understand also that in the soul plan and the life plan, there are some who are supposed to come in, experience contrast, grow, expand, and then go out. They see it, all right? So that's kind of like what happens to them during, which is, they're in their stuff, but they're able to also leave their bodies. No being can stay in constant pain all the time. You would go insane. There's got to be this detachment from your mind and from your body to your mind. And you can do that. Humans have done it. Animals are masters at it. So what happens after? After an animal's been rescued, after an animal has been, taken out of their interesting and challenging situations, what happens after? Now, those that find their way out of their situations, they always, 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 always have gratitude and appreciation, okay, for those who help them. Always. They know who you are. They see who you are. They feel who you are. They always feel it. They always know it. They always experience it. So many of them, a lot of them, are ready to step into their new lives. Now, here's the thing. Some need help, okay, to alleviate their trauma. Absolutely. They need like that moment or that little bit of time to adjust themselves so that they can, process what's going on and what happened and what's going on now. They need that time. Absolutely. Some of them do. Some of them are just like, let's go. I'm ready. Get me out of here. I packed my bags 2 weeks ago. I'm ready to get the heck out. Let's go. Okay. So there are some that are like that, but all on a very intense level want to step into their new lives. All of them, even the ones that need a little time to process, they want to step into their new lives. It's like I was talking about before with the stream of well-being. They want to get back into that stream, into that flow as quickly as possible. Not because they want to forget everything. It's not about that. It's about wanting to get back into that flow of feeling like you're a child of God, that you're in control of your life, that you're guided, that you're blessed, that you're loved. That's what they want to experience. So some, what was I saying? Sorry. So some of them some of them need help. Okay. Some aren't quite ready to exhibit, aren't quite ready. And some will exhibit unwanted behavior. Some will be aggressive. Maybe they have food aggression. Maybe they're traumatized a little bit. Maybe they are depressed. Maybe they are fearful. But they're all trying to get back into that stream of well-being. They know it, they feel it, they want it. So some have to be told over and over again things like, they're safe, they found their forever home, or if they haven't and they're in the process of it, that they're safe, that they're free, that they're in a place that they can just be okay. That it's the foster place or a nice shelter. Yeah, there are some nice shelters, okay? There are. So, that they're safe, that they're free, that they're okay, and they can start progressing back into their stream. Now, some need outside help, and that's true. Some do need outside help. Some need things like energetic healing to help them over the hump. Some need like Reiki, some need flower essences, some need acupuncture. Now acupuncture, what that does is it realigns the chakras, but it also re-stimulates and realigns and clears their chi, which is the life force, which if your life energy is constantly being pummeled every single day, yes, you're leaving your body, but it takes its toll. So sometimes acupuncture is a great way of doing it. Therapeutic touch is also another great way. The other way is, of course, animal communication. Animal communication is extremely therapeutic. Being able to talk about your experience without any judgment. I try to stay as neutral as possible. That is why it's important for me to stay as neutral as possible when I am talking to an animal that's abused. I don't go into pre-designed thing of, oh, you poor being. Oh, you poor being. Because that's not helping them. And that's not I'm not doing my job then. I have to stay as neutral as I possibly can. So they need animal communication to get it off their chest. And sometimes what I'll do is I will let them know and reiterate, you are safe, you are okay, or I give them a different perspective on the whole thing and help them to find the door back to their stream, to begin to find their stream of well-being. It's very therapeutic to talk to somebody, to vent, to get this off your chest, to get this stuff off your chest. When you feel closed in, you talk to friends, and usually your friends will give you a different perspective on the situation. That's why they're friends. So it's the same way with me. I try to help the animals find their way back into their stream by giving them a sounding board and then helping them find different avenues towards their peace. So a lot of animals that I've talked to in a single animal communication session have been helped. In one animal communication session, they're able to find their way back and they begin their healing process. It's pretty incredible. So they have this divine love. They have this divine forgiveness, even for those who have hurt them. Yes, I'm going to say that again. The animals are able to understand and process and give out unconditional love. And because of that, they are able to find forgiveness. Doesn't mean they excuse the situation. There's a difference between forgiveness and excusing. Excusing is still staying in what's happened to you. Forgiveness is letting go of it truly and releasing it. And they're able to do that for the people who either abused them or neglected them. They're able to forgive them so that they're in their rear view mirror and they do not have to deal with them anymore. I'm done. Thank you very much. You help me, grow, expand. But bye-bye. Cheers. I wish you luck. Bye-bye. So it's pretty amazing what they do. They don't hold on to resentments. They don't hold on to grudges. They want to let it go. So the last thing I want to talk about is, or a couple of other things I want to talk about is, the next thing is how they believe abuse does not define them. Now, before I go into this, I want to say I am not judging anyone. I am not saying that anybody's doing anything wrong. I'm not saying that anybody is not coming from a place of love. But just listen to this with an open mind. That's all I ask. Just an open mind. Give me 5 minutes of an open mind. Okay. So one of many things that I've learned from these amazing beings is they don't want their past. They don't want their past of abuse and neglect to define them as the beings they're becoming. Okay, so let me say that again. They don't want their past of abuse and neglect to define them as the beings they are becoming. They acknowledge their past, but they don't live their lives by it. They acknowledge it, but they don't live their lives by it. Now, they believe that there's no reason to wear it like a badge. Humans have a tendency to wear our past like a badge, as opposed to, look what I've been through, look what I've been through, look what I've been through. I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor. But sometimes that doesn't quite get you, it keeps you in the stance of what you've been through already. And if you can incorporate that in a positive way, fine. But if it keeps you in a stance of what was, let it go. All right. So they don't need to wear it like a badge. They're integrating it into who they are at the moment, but it's not what they are only about. What I mean by that is that they are at the moment, they're integrating it into who they are right here, right now, but it's not what they're only about. It's not just that. So what I want to describe is I want to describe something to you. And again, this is where I need you to kind of have an open mind, because again, I'm not coming from a place of telling you you're doing anything wrong, just understanding. So with that being said, introducing your animal as abused, it's not helping. So just understand this. I understand you're proud of them and you want the world to know how far they've come, but just bear with me. Would you do that to your friend? Would you do that to your child? Would you say, this is Cindy, my daughter. She was abused as a child and she was in a foster home for 5 years of her life. So, this is her. Would you do that to them? No, of course you wouldn't. So why is it then okay? And why is there this need to introduce your animals in such a way? Because we want to feel like we're speaking for them, and we want to show the world how far they come. And I understand that. But them just being whole and being happy and being what they need to do, that in and of itself is showing people how much your animal has changed. What happens when you introduce them and you say, this is Bobo. And Bobo was in a shelter for the first 5 years of his life, and he was a puppy mill dog, and he was beaten every day. That what happens with that is it holds them in a constant state of where they were, not who they are and where they're going. It's constantly dragging them back. And they want to move forward. They love you. They understand why you're doing what you're doing and how you do it and why you do it. They understand it comes from a place of love, but still, I'm trying to just give you a little different perspective so you can understand. Now, what I'm going to do is this. There's a lot of people who have questions. And I promise you at the end, this is important. I will get to the questions at the end, but I want to get to all of this because it's really, really an important topic. Okay. So if you can stop introducing your animals as abused, it will go a long way. Why? Well, that goes into a lot of the episodes we went into before. See, there's always a reason why I'm doing the episodes in the order that they're coming into. We were talking about how animals communicate telepathically. We were talking about how animals communicate with themselves and with others. So what I want to say is, why do we not do what we do? So, it's about being careful. First off, be careful what you look at. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you say. And I'm not saying you have to put, a muzzle on your mouth for everything that you think and you say. And it's got nothing to do with that. It's got to be doing aware with what I was saying before. Words have power. And it's one of the reasons why they call it spelling, because you work a spell. So you want to make sure that you're bringing in vibration and energy that's positive for both you and your animals. So why do we have to do this? Well, because animals are telepathic. Again, telepathy, so are we. Telepathy is just sending images or thoughts across a distance to another being, whether that being is a person or an animal. It's sending out images. With every thought you think, every word you say, you're sending out an image, whether you're aware of it or not. And when you focus your attention on something, somebody or an animal, you're sending them out all those images, all those thoughts. So when you introduce your animal as a shelter dog or an animal that's been through something less than stellar experience, you're sending those images to your animal over and over and over and over and over and over again. We're telepathic. Now, again, they understand it comes from a place of love. They understand it. They get it. All right. But it is why I am very, 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 very careful about what I look at, what I say about animals. And I do not, if you look on my website, if you look on my Facebook page, both of them, all of my Facebook pages, you will never see an animal in an abusive situation on my page, ever, 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 ever. I don't post images of abused animals. I also don't follow people on Facebook who tend to post images like that. It's not that I don't love you guys. I do. But it's about, it's not because I care. I don't care. It's because I care too much. See, reliving that image has already happened. It's already happened, whether it's minutes ago, whether it's weeks ago, whether it's days ago, whether it's months ago. It's already happened. And being telepathic, we're connecting to that animal and sending them that pain again and again and again and again every single time you look at that image. Now imagine 50 people looking at an image of you in pain weeks ago. And they're looking at that and they're sending it to you. Now imagine you being really tapped into your telepathy and being able to understand and feel that. Now, take that and multiply it by 100 or multiply it by 1,000 with how many people see pictures like that on social media. When you've already moved on, you've already been through that pain. You don't want to live that pain anymore. You want to let that pain go. You want to step into who you are today, how you're recovering. But people are constantly sending you this image. Some even years from images years ago. So that's why for me, I am very, very, very careful about who I look at, what I look at, and when I look at it. Because I feel it's my responsibility to uplift people and animals. I am not going to sit in somebody's pain, no matter if that is an animal or a person. That is for me. But this is what I've learned from the animals. They don't want that. As hard as it is for you to hear this, they don't want it. They want you to see them whole. They want you to see them happy. They want you to see them with endless possibilities. They want you to see them with endless opportunities. The animals want to move on. They want to incorporate what happened to them and move the freak on. But if you're looking at an image of an animal who's been abused hours, weeks, months, years, sometimes years ago, you're not helping them, and you're not helping yourself. You know, it doesn't help you. It makes you feel awful. What do people say when they look at images like this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, I feel awful. Well, what the hell are you looking at it for? You're not helping that animal staying in their pain. See them move on. See them as whole. See them as happy, healed, safe. That is how you help them. Send that animal light. Send that animal love. Send that animal appreciation for being a fellow being on this planet. That's uplifting them. You're not uplifting them with standing in their pain. I'm sorry, you're not. It's skewed. It's all skewed. We think we have to sit in an animal's pain in order to help them. But it's, again, animals are telepathic. We're not doing them, and we're not doing ourselves any good. Seeing them as poor, as broken, as damaged, is not doing them any good. How would you feel if somebody saw you that way? You would feel awful. You tell them, stop it. I'm whole. I'm okay. I'm strong. I can do this. Just because an animal is an animal doesn't mean that they don't see themselves that way either. Doesn't mean I'm not going to. So it's about, instead of seeing them and introducing them as a being who has a challenge, instead of that, instead of the whole other thing, introduce them as a being that's had a challenging life. This is Bobo. He's had a challenging life. But, he's risen from it. He's become more from it. He didn't allow it to stop him and to stop him from finding and creating the life he wanted and he deserved. Introduce your animals like that. That's inspiring. What happens when we introduce them as just another shelter animal or an animal that's been abused, it becomes overwhelming. We desensitize ourselves to their pain. But if we introduce them as an animal who's gotten through challenges and come out the other side and is now living the life that he wants, that he desires, that he deserves, that's uplifting. That's incredible. And that's what the animals want. So basically, that's how the animals see, abuse and neglect. I mean, they want to move on from it. They want to become more from it. They want to, it doesn't mean that they're, oh, yay, I'm going to get abused. I'm going to get beaten. I'm going to get starved. It's not about that. They just see it in a bigger picture. They see it in a bigger light than we do. They stop living in the problem and start living in the solution. They start seeing the solution. They want to be the solution. They want to be inspiring and inspirational to this world. And we can't do that if all we see is their pain. So that's why I am adamant. I don't look at pictures. I don't look at videos. I don't look at newsletters. I do a lot of work with, I love these, please don't get me wrong. I do a lot of work with wonderful, amazing, beautiful rescue organizations. I love them to death. Some of them are on here right now. They're awesome sauce. But I don't look at their newsletters. And it doesn't mean that I don't love those animals. I look at their news feeds because they're usually showing the progress that the animal is doing. They're showing daily different posts and pictures of that animal. And you can start to see that animal getting better. That's what I like. That's what I love. That's what I put a smile on and I comment on. The newsletter keeps them in a stance of what happened weeks ago, of their moments after getting out of the abusive situation. I'm not going to do that to another animal. I'm not going to do that to an animal. I'm not going to do it. I refuse. So, and it wonks me out. If I'm looking at a picture of an animal that's been tortured and abused and just ugly, really ugliness, it wonks me out. I can't, because I'm empathic. It wonks me out. So I'm not able to then do my job with other animals, with my other clients, because I'm so wonked out. There was a couple of times that somebody posted something on Facebook and I wasn't expecting it. It was, I'm not even going to say what it was. It was just horrific. I was sobbing, okay, for hours afterwards, sobbing, because I kept feeling that animal's pain. And this, God knows when that animal was hurt. Could have been months ago, but I was feeling it and I had to cancel some sessions because I couldn't do it. I was a hot mess. So it doesn't mean that you have to unfriend people, but I am very, very choosy. If you are not positive, if you're not doing something that's positive, if you're in the problem, I'm probably not following you. So the unfollow button is a great way on Facebook to stay connected to that person, because I don't want to unfriend them. It's not about that. It's just that they're in the problem. I need people who are in the solution. And that makes my news feed a much more positive place. So a little tip from me, a little social media tip. So I hope that's explains the abuse and neglect and how animal sees it. I'm very excited about bringing this topic because it is something that changed my life. And a lot of it I learned from the animals who were in the kill shelters and how they could go through the pain they went through. Ooh, here we go. How they can go through the pain they went through and still express love. That's what I want to be. I want to be able to have that love. I want to be able to express that love. I'm a hot mess in this episode. So I'm going to go back a little bit and take it to questions. And I want to thank everybody, first off, for joining me. It has been incredible. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I have. So going to some questions, Sharon says, does a foster dog have the ability to manipulate who will adopt them? Example, if they meet someone they don't want to be adopted by, will their demeanor change from who they normally are in order to avoid the adoption? Can they think like that? Absolutely. They're trying to let you know you're not the right person for me. It's a great question, by the way. But absolutely, they're going to let you know, you're my forever person. Or, and this is interesting, again, going into the soul plan, life plan, they might see in a bigger picture, this person may not be my person, but this person's going to get me to my person. So I'm going to kind of act like I belong to this dog, this person, but then they're going to kind of get a sense, I'll make them get a sense that I'm not quite their dog or their animal, so that then they then find me their other person, my forever person. It's very, very interesting. I've seen animals do that, and usually humans get it on a very instinctual level, excuse me. They get it on a very instinctual level that this is not my animal. I was supposed to get them out of that situation, but they're not my animal. And you have to honor that, because if it was supposed to be your animal, it would be a hell yes, not a hell no, or a hell maybe, because there are no hell maybes. It would be a hell yes. So thank you for that question. I appreciate you, Sharon. So Adele, I get what you're saying. Adele says, I get what you're saying. I've never before met a fur baby like my dozer. He was rescued and adopted at 1.5 years old. He is now 10. Dozer's amazing. But he has never shaken the past and the abuse. I know this because I see his reactions to certain things. I have tried, God knows I have tried. I've had professionals try and help, and still he has a big grudge. I know it sounds crazy. Who are you talking to? I know it sounds crazy, but I know deep in my heart that he has never forgotten, and he still shows reactions to things every day. I don't know how to get, he can get a hold, how he can hold on to it for so long. There are animals that do. Now, here's the thing, and again, it's not touting my own horn, but there are animals that are not ready to quite let it go, and they keep, are in a pattern of negative behavior, but that's when maybe outside help is the thing, maybe an animal communicator. And I'm not saying me, any animal communicator that resonates with you. Maybe an animal communicator that works with Reiki, flower essences, things like that. There's something that, because I'm able to tap into him and really find out what's going on, what is his hang up? Where is it? What can I do? I'm able to clear all that stuff away. I think that, an animal communication session with Dozer would be very, very helpful. That's just me. And again, doesn't have to be with me, but I think we can help him greatly. It's my feeling that he wants to get rid of his stuff. He just doesn't know how to find the door. And that's my job as an animal communicator. I hope that helped, Adele. Thank you for asking that or saying that, because it's really important. Cheryl says, not going to lie, it took a time for me to see a difference for Hagen, but once I did, there was such lightness in his step, and it didn't treat him any different from the rest of the pack. At the very least, I tried. Awesome. That's all they ask. That's all they ask. See them as whole. However, I cannot say he will ever get over the problem of fear he experiences with thunder. Yeah, the thunder is hard. Thunder is a very disempowering. And again, I'm going to go into why animals, another episode is going to be why animals show unwanted behaviors. So you might want to look into that one. But thunder is hard. It's hard. It's powerless. And there are some animals. Hagen has come a long way. I know he was my client. He is my client. He has come a long way. So kudos on that one. But there are some that have a hard time releasing it totally and completely, 100%. But a little bit is better than nothing at all, because eventually maybe he'll get fully back into the flow of the stream of well-being. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Thank you very much for saying that, Cheryl. Sharon says, it's so hard to look at these images. I don't usually share them unless the law is wanting us to share it to try to catch the abuser. I cry a lot when I see those posts. I know rescues share it to bring awareness to the abuse, to try to get tougher laws in place, but wow, I had no idea that they can telepathically make them experience the pain over again. Wow. Yeah. It changes it up, don't it? It really just changes it all up. It makes you think. Makes you think. And how do you want to help this animal? What do you want to do? Do you want to share in their pain, or do you want to send them light, love, appreciation, power, empowering them, uplifting them? It's and I get it. I used to be part of this whole thing. I used to get PETA. I used to get this. I used to get that. I used to get this. I used to see the postcards. I used to think it was my job to be and see and experience their pain. That's my job. It's not my job. It keeps me from doing my job. And what I do, for me, what I do is too important. And I'm not going to do that. I won't do it for a person. I'm not going to let a person sit in their poop. I'm not going to let an animal sit in their poop. I'm not going to sit in a poop with a person, and I'm not going to sit in a poop with the animal. I treat them just on the same level. So if I'm not going to do it for a person, I'm not going to do it for an animal. That's me. Okay, so what else? Oh, Brenda says, haha, Bilbo Balin. He's this one and the same reincarnation, rabbit reincarnation. Chased away the other baby bunnies we were looking at, so we couldn't choose anyone but him. So yeah, the animals can influence who they take home. Yep, I'll just leave that. That's pretty good. Kane has never been hit by any of us ever, but he's always been still shy of hand shy. When we go to pet him, his head above. Could this be something from past life? Ooh. Or just a preference that he's been approached, just a preference that he be approached from below. I would have to do a session with Kane. But it's interesting that you say past lives, because that's what next week's episode is going to be about. So you must be psychic there, Shelley. So there we go. This is episode 11. How animals do not allow abuse and neglect to define them. So what I wanted to say was, I said I was on Facebook, I was going to announce something. So here we go. The Animal Experience is on YouTube. The Animal Experience is on Facebook. I am in the process right now of putting the Animal Experience on podcasts so that you can download them on iTunes and Google Play. They're up there already, but not all of them are showing up. So I'm still in the process of trying to find out what's going on. But you can find them on iTunes. You can find them on Google Play. Yay. Here's the thing I want to announce. It looks very much like the Animal Experience is going to have its own internet radio TV show, or internet radio show, not TV, not yet. But I have been approached by an internet radio company, and they want me to put the Animal Experience on a weekly show to be heard worldwide. So I think that's pretty awesome. Episode 11, and already podcasts, YouTubes, videos, Facebook videos, and now its own internet radio show. So stay tuned. I'll let you know more about that. Yeah, I got all the love. I'm psyched. So yeah, it's going to be good. So next week's episode is going to be episode 12. And it is going to be, we're going to be discussing animals and their experience with past lives. Fascinating. I'm telling you, everything. I used to say, I don't do past lives. I don't do Akashic records. I don't do that stuff. I don't do aliens. I don't do any of that stuff. All that stuff I learned from the animals. So past lives, ooh, we are going to go into this. This is going to be blow your mind, fascinating. All right. So if you're interested in a reading with me, if you're interested in a session with me, please go to my website, which is CorielKramer.com. You can find me on Twitter, on Pinterest, on Facebook, on Instagram, all under CorielKramer.com, and Facebook, of course. So if you have an idea for a show, an episode, please send it to me. Either find me on Facebook or send me an email through mail at CorielKramer.com. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me, both now and later. I really, really appreciate you. I love you all. I love your animals. I will see you next week. And once again, thank you for joining the Animal Experience. Have a great week.